If you've been around this sport for a while or are thinking of getting into it, you either know or are about to know that fly fishing and tying can be an expensive hobby. But it doesn't always have to be. Now, the primary piece of equipment you're going to need as a tyer is a vise. And I've got 5 of them I'm going to talk about today. They're mostly geared toward a new tyer, or maybe somebody who's been tying on an introductory vise and just looking to upgrade. Or maybe you're a veteran tyer and looking for a travel vise, or looking to get a kid or grandkid into tying. Well, a couple of these might be just what you're looking for. It's July 2025 right now, and these vises range from $38 to $99. Now, there are really only 4 things I look at when reviewing a vise. The first one is, how well does it hold a hook? That's a vise's primary objective. If it doesn't do that well, it's not going to be a good vise. And the second thing is, what is it made out of? And that should speak to how durable it is and how long it should last. Then, how easy is it to set up and use? A cumbersome vise, just not going to be fun to tie on. And lastly is the cost. I mean, that's always an important factor when considering a new piece of equipment. Now, for those of y'all without a local fly shop, all of these are available online. I'll put some links in the description. Let's take a look at them. Now, this vise is called the Crown, and it has been around a pretty long time. Now, you can get it with a brass body, or in this case, a steel body. No functionality difference. I think that's really just your preference. You can get it with a C-clamp or a pedestal. This one, as you're looking at it, is 3 pounds and 6 ounces. So it is a pretty beefy vise. Now, granted, most of this weight is the pedestal, but the post, body, and jaws, yeah, they're pretty hefty too. It comes in a pretty no-frills box, no extras. It did come with 1 Allen wrench. I'll show you where you use that here in a second. And the setup on this thing is easy. Nothing really to it. You put the post, these pieces come already together. You put the post into the pedestal. You got a little brass bolt right there to lock it in. Now, here's where you would use the Allen wrench. You would open this little bolt right there and then angle this up or down to get it to your liking, and then close it. And that's really the only time you do that. There's not much need to, change that very often. So let's put a hook in it. Let me show you how it works. It's got the clamp like kind of like a Regal. You've got 1 bolt right here that will adjust how you can spin it around like this. So you kind of get it to where you want it. And then you've got this clamp right here. Just squeeze it in and then put your hook in there. Get enough purchase on it that you think it's going to hold. Now let's test the holding power. It was pretty easy to put in. This is a size 10 dry fly hook. Is this thing going to slip or is it going to bend? That's definitely bending before it slips. So the jaws on these things are powerful. It is going to hold a hook really well. Now, can you tie size 20 on it? Well, yes, you can. I got one right here. It will hold it very well. It's a little hard to tie in it because these jaws aren't too pointy, but you can definitely tie down to a 20 on this thing. Now, can you tie on it with one hand? Really, you can, because the only thing you do, maybe you've got your bobbin holder or scissors over here. You've got one little bolt right here with a little pin going through it. So you just give that a turn, and then you could spin it around right there, and then you could tighten it back up, and now you could either tie on the underside of the hook. If I was tying on this every day, what I would probably do is loosen this and get it, just enough tension right here that it's not going to wobble, but that I can still turn it around. That might be a little too much tension. So just a little less right there. So I could tie on it right here, but then I could easily flip it over and look at the underside and maybe tie on the underside as well. So hook holding power, yeah, it's great. It'll hold a hook, and it'll hold a pretty big hook and down to a small hook. It's fairly beefy, but the one con is on a pedestal, this thing could be just a little bit wobbly. So you see this right here. If you're really tying something big on it, you're putting some heavy thread wraps on it, this base is kind of small and you might get just a little bit of wobble right there. But if you're tying pretty small trout flies, that's probably not going to be an issue. So what is the cost of this thing? Well, in July 2025, it's $38. And my overall impression for how well it holds a hook, how easy it is to use, and how long I think this thing will last, yeah, it's very positive. A new tyer out there could certainly do a lot worse than this Crown vise. All right, let's get to the next one. This vise is the Max Catch. Now, I've reviewed this on here before. It was about 4 years ago, but I liked it so much that I bought one for myself and I put it in my travel tying kit. And it's still there. I use the thing 5 or 6 times a year, and it's holding up pretty well, and I still like it. Now, it only comes with a C-clamp, but it's a really nice one with a big 2.5-inch opening. I mean, I've had this thing on lots of hotel room tables and some pretty big picnic tables at campgrounds. Now, it comes in a pretty basic box, not a whole lot to it, with a couple of extras. You've got a little foam tool caddy. I think you'd just put this on the post. You could put your bobbin holders or bodkins or whatever in there. I really don't use that, but you could if you wanted to. Then you got a little fly drying patch. And then it comes with an Allen wrench, which is really the only one you need to adjust, about the only thing on here that would need adjusting. So let me show you how easy this thing is to set up and use. Really, not much to it. You've got one little bolt right here. You just loosen that one. You adjust your height. Okay, so you're going to put it on your bench like this, and then you might want to twist it like that. So then you just kind of tighten that up with your fingers right there. Put this on your table or bench, and this little bolt right here, you can sit on this side. You'd loosen that up so that you can change the cant to get it to, how you want it. So that part is adjustable. So let's put a hook in it, see how well it holds it. And it's like a lot of the standard vices. You've got a lever here, and then that opens and closes your jaws, but you have this little, I guess, bolt threaded piece goes around the jaws that you tighten or loosen to make the jaws bigger before you put the hook in it. So you just want to, kind of close that until you get the jaws just a little bit bigger than your hook, and then you can clamp it down. So now we've got this size 10 dry fly hook in there. See how well it holds it. Will it slip? No, not slipping at all. This hook will break before it slips. So will this thing hold down to a 20? Yeah, absolutely. I've tied plenty of size 20s with it. And also, you can use it with one hand. You've got one bolt right here. You could just, half a turn right there, and now the thing will rotate. Let's clamp it down right there. So you could rotate it, flip the fly upside down, then another half turn to lock that thing. Now you're tying on the underside of it. Open it up, go back here, and now you're tying normally. So very easy to use, and it's pretty simple to use with one hand. So this vise in July of 2025 is $44. So this really is still a pretty good deal. And I've recommended this thing to a lot of new tires and some veteran tires who are looking for something for their travel kit. And I've never had anybody come back to me and say that they didn't like it. All right, let's move on to the third one I want to review today. This vise is the LureLink True Rotary. Now, I'd never seen this thing or tied on it until this week, but I can tell you my first impression is that this thing is really solid. It comes in a no-frills box, but it's very well packaged with foam inserts, so all the pieces are going to arrive in pretty good shape. Now, it does come on a pedestal, and total weight on the pedestal is 1 pound and 13 ounces, which is considerably lighter than the crown on a pedestal at about 3.5 pounds, but that's because this one is mostly aluminum. We grab the magnet here. Even the pedestal is not steel or iron. Everything else up here is aluminum. But get this, the jaws, they're also aluminum. They're not steel. So are they going to wear out quicker than steel jaws would? Well, I don't know, but I'm thinking they probably will. I mean, steel has a much higher tensile strength. I mean, it's 4 to 5 times stronger than aluminum. But does that mean these jaws are going to wear out in a year? I don't think so. I mean, maybe this thing lasts 10 years instead of 30. So how easy is this thing to set up and use? Well, really easy. The setup is quite simple. You just put the post in it. This piece comes already attached. You just put the post in the pedestal, and then you'll attach the bobbin cradle here. As for use, yeah, very easy to use. You've got a couple of bolts right here. You can loosen these up to make it rotate a little easier right here. You've got the bolt and lever kind of jaw assembly right here. So what you do there, you don't lock the lever here yet. You've got this bolt. So you put your hook in there and then twist this bolt until you get just a little bit of purchase right. Let's say we got it right there. So it's not in there very tight yet. And then you just close that bolt. Let's see, is this thing going to slip? I barely got that hook in there. Is it going to slip before it bends? No, it's not going to slip. That hook would easily bend before that. And I did put a size 20 in here. It holds it just fine. You can tie on it very easily. So can you use this thing with one hand? Yeah, kind of. I mean, you've got 3 bolts right here that really sort of do the same thing. I don't know why it's designed like that. Got 2 holding it from the side and then 1 holding from the bottom. So probably how I would use this, I would keep these on the side just barely tight, not really tight at all. And then I would use it right here. I don't use the rotary all that often, but I do like a rotating function so that I'm tying the fly, I can flip it up and look over it and tie on the bottom or do whatever I want. So yeah, I could use this with one hand. So that's probably how I would use this thing. So my overall impression at $50, I really like this vise. And I think for a new tire or maybe somebody who's looking to upgrade from something that came with a kit, you'd be really happy with this vise. All right, let's move on to number 4. This is the Zephyr Tungsten Jaw True Rotary Vise. I tied half a dozen flies with this thing just to get a feel for it. And first impression, it's a decent vise. This one does come with a C-clamp and a pedestal, but I wasn't all that impressed with the C-clamp. I mean, it's painted aluminum, it's okay, but it's only got an 1.5-inch opening, so it's not gonna really fit on any big tables. And with the C-clamp, it comes in at 11.3 ounces, but with the pedestal, it's 2 pounds, 13 ounces. So what is this one made out of? Well, it's mostly aluminum. I mean, the pedestal is either steel or iron, but the post and the barrel handle here are aluminum. Actually, that handle is plastic. But the jaws, they are tungsten carbide, which is significantly harder than steel. So I'm betting the mechanics of this thing would wear out before the jaws would. So how easy is this thing to set up and use? Well, setup was pretty easy. You either put it in the C-clamp or on your pedestal. You've only got 1 bolt right here. Loosen this bolt on my side, and then you can spin it around, pretty freely turn it, another half turn right there to tighten it back up. But it's another one with the bolt and lever jaw assembly. So you just kind of twist that bolt until you get it open enough to get your hook in there. Then you get just a little bit of purchase, and then you close that lever right there, and you'll kind of feel it when it gets all the way there. It'll have a little, just feels like eases up a little bit. So you pull it, and then boom, it's set. You feel it. So is this thing going to hold the hook really well? Yeah, it's not going to slip. This size 10 isn't going to slip. And you could easily tie down to a 20 with this thing, no problem at all. You can use it with one hand, like I said. You can just loosen that bolt, make the rotary, make it rotate right here. Maybe you want to just flip it upside down and then tighten it back up. Could you tie on the underside there? Yeah, I think you could pretty easily. One quick con I noticed on this thing, it doesn't have a bobbin cradle. If you were going to use this as a rotating vise, you need something to hold your bobbin over here to the side so that you can do the rotating thing. I think that's a pretty major con that it doesn't come with a bobbin cradle, because you're going to have to buy one of those. It's going to add another $15 or $20 to your investment here. And one more con, it's really just this pedestal. It's kind of small. It is beefy and heavy, but it's not real stable. I mean, it's stable enough for small flies and whatnot, but it's kind of like the crown, that if you're trying to tie something big, you might just get a little bit of wobble in this base here. So at $99, is this worth the cost? Well, that's kind of a tough call. I mean, it is a decent vise, but it's almost twice as expensive as the Lure Link, which I kind of liked a little bit better anyway. All right, let's move on to the last vise in this list. This is the Clark Fork True Rotary Vise by Kingfisher. Now, this week was the first time I'd seen this or tied on this vise, but I have to say, I was kind of blown away. This thing far exceeded my expectation. Now, it didn't come with a C-clamp, only the pedestal, but with the pedestal, it was still only 1 pound and 13.5 ounces, but it doesn't feel like a lightweight at all. It's mostly aluminum. Even the pedestal looks like it's aluminum, but I really like this pedestal. It's got your pockets for your hooks and beads. It does have 3 or 4 holes where you could put the post. I don't know why anybody would put the post anywhere but right here, but I mean, you could if you wanted to. The setup was simple, really. Just put the post in whatever hole you wanted and then attach the bobbin cradle. So yeah, most of it is aluminum, except for the jaws. They are steel. All right, let's put a hook in it and see how easy it is to use. And like a lot of vices in this style, you've got the bolt and lever assembly for the jaws. So you just open this bolt till you get it open enough to put the size hook you want in it, and then close it just enough to bite. It's not really clamped in there yet, and then you'll clamp the lever right there, and now that hook, I barely got it in there. Is it going to bend before it slips? Yeah, it sure will. I mean, it's a size 10. It's not a size 2 beefy streamer hook, but yeah, this will hold a hook very well. I put a 20 in it. It held it great. And I did try out the rotary function with a size 6, which it worked pretty well too. And how you do that, you have the one Allen wrench right here, and it came with the 3 Allen wrenches you need. You just loosen that one up and then raise this right here up or down until you get the hook shank in line with the axis of rotation. Then you'd be good to go using it as a rotary function. But honestly, I so rarely use a true rotary function that that's not even a selling point to me. What I do like about it is that one-handed operation is easy. You've got this bolt right here, loosen, tighten. I am all the time flipping my flies upside down to look at the underside or either tie from the underside. This one does that very well. You've got this one bolt right here, you loosen that, pretty freely spins, and then you tighten it back up. So yeah, you could easily do this with one hand. Now, one of the features that I haven't mentioned yet that I really love with this vise is it comes with a pretty amazing case. Looks like it's nice, durable ABS plastic and some closed cell foam in here. So the vise fits in here perfectly. You just take it out of the pedestal, put the pedestal here, put the vise here, and the bobbin cradle right there. This in itself would make this thing a pretty good travel vise. So at $99, is this thing worth the cost? I'm gonna say absolutely yes. This might be the best $100 vise out there. I mean, it's almost comparable to the Peak Rotary, which is what, $225 now? So I'll wrap this one up by saying this was just a super impressive vise. I was blown away with everything about it. All right, let me summarize the 5 vices I talked about today. All are available online. All are decent vices with several pros for each. The Crown, at $38, that thing is just a workhorse. It's simple to use and it'll probably last you 50 years. The Max Catch, that's a great travel vise. It's really lightweight, really easy to use. I've been pretty happy with mine for the last 4 years. The Lure Link, that is a very solid true rotary that could be your everyday vise. Now, I didn't like it quite as much as a Kingfisher, but it was half the price, and at $50, this thing is really a bargain. The Zephyr, that was a decent vise. It was probably the one I liked the least out of the 5 on this list. I mean, it did come with a C-clamp and a pedestal, but it didn't come with a bobbin cradle, so that's kind of a must-have if you're going to use the rotary on it. The Clark Fork by Kingfisher, that vise is amazing. That was easily the best $100 vise I've ever tied with. So if you're looking to get into this sport or maybe upgrade from an introductory vise and you've got $100 to spend, go with the Clark Fork by Kingfisher. And if you've only got $50, then go with the Max Catch or the Lure Link. Both great choices. Or if you just like the Regal style clamp, go with the Crown. That's also a great vise. Okay, thank you to everybody who has watched this far. If you've seen any of my reviews, you know I like to give the products away after I've reviewed them. And I am going to do that with these 5 vices, but not in this video because giving away 5 at one time, that's just kind of hard. So I recorded this video specifically so that I could cut it into 5 shorter segments, 1 for each vise, and I'm going to publish those videos for the next 5 Sunday nights. So if you want to win one of these, just watch one of those videos and you'll leave a comment, and then I'll go to the random comment picker and pick a winner. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching this one. Y'all take care and see you in a couple days.